But people don't like selling their books.
They don't.
And as much as you tell me, oh yeah, I'm going to sell it, I call it BS.
You go ahead.
I call it BS because I know you, man. I know you. I know how much you enjoy those books.
I do enjoy them.
And you know. Welcome to Comics with Bueller. As always, I'm Bueller. Today is episode 101 of the brand new Coffee and Comics Show. Mm-hmm. I'm not alone. As you can see, I got my good friend Bob here with me. Bob, how you doing today?
A little under the weather today, but I'm raring to go. Episode 101. Got my coffee. Let's do this, man.
Yeah, 3 digits, man. That's
3 digits.
A long way to go to 4 digits. but not bad. I'm excited. But we always start off with the coffee we're drinking. And right now we're drinking just looks like regular coffee, to be honest with you.
Well, mine's a little special, but yeah.
What do you have?
So this is this stuff by this company called Javi. It's called microdose coffee.
Okay.
And so basically it's a really high concentrated coffee.
Oh, nice.
And so I put just basically 1 tablespoon in with about 8 ounces of water, and it makes a cup of coffee. I found it's better as a cold brew than it is a hot brew.
Yeah.
And it's really good.
So like instant coffee?
And no, it comes in a bottle.
Okay.
Right, and it's just concentrated coffee. It's called microdosing.
Instant coffee.
Yeah,
whatever.
But it's good.
I'm having just regular black coffee, but I'm using my mug that Daniel Azola sent to me as a gift. So it's a Punisher mug. Punisher is my favorite. Let me take a sip. It's a little watered down, but that's okay. You know, what are you gonna do? That's like my 4th cup already today. So I was like, whatever, right? I had a cold brew earlier this morning, another coffee, and now this. But you know what? I love the mug. Thank you, Daniel. And also, we can't forget, even though we're not drinking it, Mocha Express.
Absolutely.
The official coffee shop of Comics with Bueller. And, you know, if you're in town, go have some coffee. It's on us or whatnot. So next week we might have some eggnog. We don't know. But today we just kind of skipped it. What are you going to do, right?
Yeah.
This episode is going to be a lot of fun. Our topic today is what is your best or favorite comic book? And that can mean a lot of things.
Sure.
It can mean the most expensive or something special to you. Whatever it was, that's what we kind of asked our audience. And a lot of great comments, a lot of great stories. Some were pretty simple, like, hey, Action Comics #1. That's a great comic book to have.
Sure.
And some were like 2 or 3 paragraphs that made me cry out loud. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, man. But you know what? I'm really looking forward to it. But before we get to that, I have a special announcement. So we're going to make this official right here on episode 101. As you can see right here, this is the final, I don't know, draft, I guess you'd say, of Knock 'em Dead #1. The very first official Comics with Bueller variant comic book. They are available right now, and I'll tell you how to get them. I only have 40 copies available. That's it. Once those 40 copies are gone, I do not have any more copies whatsoever. So if you want to get a copy of the very first Comics with Bueller official comic book, Knock 'em Dead #1 by Clara Meath, my favorite artist, now is your chance. And let me be totally honest with you guys about this book. So if you want to get one, just send me an email. It'll pop up on screen. It's comicswithbueller@gmail.com. And just send me an email that you're interested. I'll get back to you, tell you exactly how much they are. Actually, they're $19.99 plus $4 shipping. And we're only shipping within the United States right now. It's like $30-$40 to ship outside the United States. So it's just crazy. But I want to say something about this book. And the fact that this is the very first one, it's because of the people watching.
Yeah.
Is what this is. This does not happen unless people decide to watch the channel.
Yeah.
Or subscribe to the channel or take the time. This was never in my realm of a possibility years ago or even a year ago.
Right.
But because of you guys, this is something that I can feel comfortable pulling the trigger on doing. Mm-hmm. Because it's not exactly cheap to do it, you know.
Yeah.
But you know, there is a possibility to make a little bit of money on it. But really, it's even though it's the very first official Comics with Bueller variant, it has my logo on the back. It's small, but like I said, size doesn't matter. It's what you do with it, right? Isn't that the saying?
Right.
But it's on there and it's official. But it's official because it's you guys.
That's awesome.
So I look at it as the very first official comic book community variant.
Right.
Just because it just doesn't happen without you guys. So if you guys would like one, unfortunately, like I said, there's only 40 available because I've already sold a handful of them. And but this is the official launch. It comes out December, or the first week of December. I think it's the 4th. I'm not exactly sure. I'll let you guys know the bill is due on Tuesday, so tomorrow. So if you guys want one, let me know because that will help me out pay the bill and all that stuff.
Sure.
So, but thank you guys. I cannot. I was thinking about the other night when they just sent me the final, version of this, to get the okay. And when I saw my logo on the back, I was like, man, that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
And just the fact that I have the opportunity to do that and have an audience that would be willing to, purchase these things, it wouldn't happen without them.
Right.
So I'm not planning on doing a lot of variants in the future. One every now and then, maybe 3 or 4 a year. So every 3 or 4 months. I don't want to do one every month or every few weeks or stuff like that. I want to make it kind of special. And I was also thinking about getting input from the community on variants. What would you guys like? What would you like the next Comics with Bueller variant comic to be? Mm-hmm. Would you like it to be something that's killing the children? An issue of that, I think that'd be kind of cool to get as much feedback as possible because a lot of people, they do their variants and they just do them and they put them out and here you go. But if 100 people said, hey, you should do, Red Mother, variant, then we should do that. Or maybe what's your little dude's name?
Daredevil?
No, the little dude.
Kanto.
If they wanted it, and if there was a lot of feedback for it, I might do a Comics with Bueller Kanto cover.
Yeah. Even though you've never read it. But
yeah, exactly. But I'm just saying, I think that would be kind of cool to include the community and get their feedback on what they would want to see, or artist, or title, or whatnot.
Sure.
And the more feedback, the better. Because like I said, I really do look at this as not only the very first official Comics with Bueller variant, but it's the official comic book community variant.
Absolutely.
Because without them, I can't say it enough, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So if you're interested, email me, comicswithbueller@gmail.com. It'll pop up on screen. I will get back to you. It's first come, first serve. So as soon as they're gone, and I will let you know. But I'll give you all the information you need to purchase one. And it's pretty exciting. First thing Bob said, did I get one for free? I'm like, yeah, you get one for free. So I put a handful aside for some friends and family and myself and stuff. And those I'll just keep. But there's 40 copies available right now. And that is it. Once they're gone, they are gone.
Yeah.
And moving on from there. So it should be a lot of
feel
fun.
really good. I mean, first official Comics with Bueller variant.
Yeah.
And as far as, like I said in the last episode, this is a piece of history. I think when we look back in all the different eras of comics, we're sitting in an era of comicdom that has been influenced by YouTube and the YouTube community, and so this is going to go down as a piece of history. I think. I don't know if they'll call it the YouTube age or whatever, but I think that's what it's going to kind of come out to be.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. So thank you everybody, everyone who's already purchased one. They're already, like I said, they're halfway already gone.
Yeah. And
I kind of let people know on Instagram and on the other video, but I limited it to very small quantities because I wanted to have a little batch here for this show for the official launch or whatnot. So 40 copies. If you want one, send me an email and we'll get you taken care of. So I'm trying to limit people to like 2 copies and stuff, or some people have bought 3 copies or whatnot, but I try to limit people to 2. So
yeah, there you go.
Anyway, I wanted to thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to share that. I'm excited. Bob,
you gotta be. You gotta
be. So there you go. And I said this before. I'm doing this one to try to fund the next one, and if I can make enough money on this one to fund the next one, that's the goal for this one. That's where the money is going for, and so far it looks like it's going to work out. So I'm in. I'll make a little bit of money on the next one.
Right.
So, and also I want to let you guys know that I mentioned this on 100, but in December I'm going to Florida for December 10th through the 17th to Infinity Con, and that's thanks to the people at Infinity Con and Tony from Comic Pro Line. And right now it's still on track, so if you're familiar with Infinity Con, I don't exactly know where it's at, but I know I'm going into the Tampa area. I'm flying into there. I'll be in Florida for a week. love to see everyone. You know, that I know there's a lot of people in Florida, so I'm already planning on meeting with a bunch of YouTubers, but just a bunch of regular viewers. I'd love to meet everyone. So if you're in the Florida area or thinking about going to that con, let me know. But I will be in the town for the whole week just hanging out.
Come on.
Going to comic shops and hanging out with other comic collectors. So if you can't make the con, if you're around, you know, let's go hang out. So
there you go.
Go to a beach. I don't know. But let's go ahead and jump into our first 5.
Sure.
And you want to go first, Bob?
Yeah, why not? Okay, so I just brought some random stuff this week. So this one is the what if issue. What if the Phoenix rose again?
Nice.
This one is Avengers number 97. Always like that cover. This is Catwoman number 4. I think it's Bermejo that did that one.
Oh, that was Art Germ.
It's Art Germ, that's right.
I don't know.
There we go. And then here's the kids' homage cover to Stranger Things.
Nice.
And then a McFarlane cover. Oh, no, it's not a McFarlane. It's Amazing Spider-Man number 263. Doc Ock is Spider-Man there.
Very cool.
There you go. There's the first 5.
Here is my first 5 here. And I got Spawn 311. This is sent to me by Eric.
Nice.
The Rogue Trader.
Mm-hmm.
He likes sending me stuff. So that's cool.
He's a good guy.
Thank you, Eric. I like that. He sent a couple other ones as well. I wanted to show this because this is really awesome. Mm-hmm. This is the Avengers facsimile number 57. And something I just noticed that they started doing is before on the facsimiles, they would put the price of the book. Like $3.99, it would be in the price area where the regular price would have been. Mm-hmm. On this one, it says 12 cents.
Really?
Yes.
Like the original?
Yes, and I think that's the first time they've done it. Because if you go back to the other facts, like Hulk 181, it'll have the price tag on there, $3.99.
$3.99, yeah.
Right in the corner where the regular 25-cent price would have been. Mm-hmm. This is the first one, I believe, at least as far as I can tell, where they actually left the original price, the 12 cents, and then there's a barcode at the bottom with the actual price.
That's awesome.
So I thought that was really neat. I caught my eye right away when I saw it. I was like, oh, I definitely got to pick it up. So very cool. And then these ones were sent to us by David Ernst, and I got some copies for you as well. This is Cartoons in Black, number 1. These are his original comics.
Oh, nice.
And here is number 2. And if you look around us, his artwork is up everywhere.
Nice.
And he sent us a bunch of artwork. He's the one who sent us the prints last time that we're going to send out. We actually need to autograph some for him. He wants us to autograph it and send it to him.
Sure.
So I got to make sure we take care of that. But Dr. Doom, Hulk,
That's my
Flash,
2 favorite guys right there.
I know. That's why they're there. He purposely made those for you.
Dude, thanks, bro.
Daredevil, Captain America, as you can see all around. I put his artwork all over the place. So
that is awesome.
Very cool. Thank you so much there, David. He's very talented. And he sent us just a bunch of stuff to send out to people, extra copies of these books. And so we're going to send those out and down the road. So
awesome stuff.
Very cool. And a bunch of prints of this stuff too, so we can send that out as well. And he autographed every one of them.
That's awesome. Yeah. Dude, thank you so much.
Very cool. And here we go. I finally got my copy.
Of what?
I think I was the last one.
Here
is The Devil's Red Bride, which is the first unofficial Comics with Bueller variant. And the reason why I took a little bit longer because Clara, the artist, autographed it for me, and she wrote me a note and stuff like that. And I told him, I said, whatever you have left, you can send me, but take care of the regular people who purchased it first.
Right.
And so I just got this just the other day, and it has a nice little note on there from Clara that says, thank you so much for your support, Clara Meath. And she's actually the one who's doing my Knock 'em Dead one as well.
Nice.
So, very cool. I'll have 2 covers from her, the first unofficial and the first official with my nickel-sized logo on the back. I'll show a picture of it on screen so you can see, but it's pretty funny. But anyway, that's my first 5. Thank you, Clara, for sending that to me.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dakota Comics, who actually is the person I partnered up with doing these variants as well. So we're actually going to do Robbie's Pick of the Week at the end of the video. We got something new to talk about then, so we're going to go ahead and jump right into our topic right now, and our topic is brought to you by Blackbox Comics. So I just want to let you guys know that Devil's Dominion comes out December 30th, so that's right around the corner, and they have a Kickstarter right now for Psycho List trade paperback. I think there's 10 days left. There's a link down below if you want to support that Kickstarter. I know a lot of people do, but if you want to go to Blackbox Comics, you can, and they're blackboxcomics.net. Enter the code Bueller10, you save 10% on all your purchases. But let's get to our topic, and the
Sure.
topic is your best comic in your collection. When I ask this question, it can mean anything. A sentimental value, monetary value. It's up to you. What is your favorite, best book that you probably wouldn't get rid of in any scenario? That's kind of what we wanted to hear.
Right.
And there was a ton of just stuff. Like I said, literally, I was like, come on, man. Just, made me cry, a little bit here. Just great stories.
Yeah.
And fond memories that people share. So thank you, everyone. Even though we're only reading a handful of comments, I read every one of the comments for the coffee video. I kind of have to, because that's kind of what we do. But they were all just awesome. If you want to take a few minutes to go read those, you won't be disappointed. But I got the first one here, and this is from Man Bear Pig. I think that's how you say it. He said, the best book I have in my collection is X-Men 100, signed by Chris Claremont, and I bought it at a con I decided to go to at the last minute. I didn't even know Chris was going to be there. Got to buy a comic on my personal grail list and get it signed by my favorite writer on the same day. There was a tremendous amount of X-Men titles on this list. And also Chris Claremont. Yeah. Autographs. Just his autographs in general, whether it was Wolverine, X-Men, or whatever. Very much a very popular person. This is a wonderful book for me as well. I have this book. Some dude gave it to me. And that was this guy right here, which is pretty awesome. It's not autographed, but I have autographed books by Chris Claremont. But, it just made me miss the Comic-Con experience when I read that. And it feels like it's been forever. Yeah. Since we've all been to a Comic-Con. I mean, I guess there's little cons here and there in different parts of the United States. There's nothing around here. There hasn't been anything close since we shut down. Yeah. And, man, I'm really looking forward to...
Oh, I can't wait.
Getting out and saying hello to some people and just the Florida thing. As long as everything is still a go, man, I'm so looking forward to it. So
absolutely.
But great book.
He mentions X-Men number 100. I know that, yes, I did give that to you, but that book is special to me for a very one reason.
You like robots?
No, I don't like robots. But it's the first appearance of the Fastball Special, man.
Oh, yeah.
And that I remember when I first read that when I was younger, man, that just blew my mind and cemented me as an X-Men fan forever.
Does everyone know what the Fastball Special is? Why don't you tell them?
Older version. Well, that's where basically Colossus picks up Wolverine and throws him at whatever target they need to, take down. And so that's the Fastball Special.
And then they did that in the third X-Men movie or whatnot.
Yeah, I think it was
finally. So just a little homage to it. So it's kind of cool. Yeah, that's the Fastball Special. So
Love
there
it.
you go.
I actually have a shirt with that on it.
There you go. I got the next one as well. This is from Jason Jones. He says, I fell in love with comics when I had some vacation money and driving to Beth County, Virginia, to vacation with friends. We stopped at a little country store that had a spinner rack filled with comics. I don't remember what I bought at the time. Pretty sure it was Batman or X-Men, but I remember falling in love. I had no access to comics in my neighborhood until a few years later when a local pharmacy put it in a spinner rack. I remember begging for comic books. I remember buying X Factor #1 and subsequently through the Mutant Massacre and Inferno events, and that rebooted franchise has been my favorite comic since. I sold almost my entire collection when I went off to college, but kept the X Factor, Excalibur, and Alpha Flights I had amassed. I forgot about comics until a buddy introduced me to The Walking Dead and Invincible comics, and now I'm back into collecting again. I still have those early issues of X Factor comics. Even though they are not in the best condition, I love them.
That's awesome.
That's just a great comment.
Sure.
I loved X Factor. Mm-hmm. X Factor is the original X-Men team.
Yeah.
In case people were wondering what the X Factor team is, it's the original X-Men.
That's what it originally was.
Yeah. And, but Excalibur, Alpha Flight, New Mutants, they all came out roughly around the same time,
Yeah, X-Force.
And just more mutants.
Yeah.
More mutant love. And, he gets introduced to the spinner rack, and we all got introduced to that. I mean, most of us, unfortunately, it's not around anymore.
Yeah.
I purposely have been putting the spinner rack in my videos lately.
Yeah.
Just for nostalgia purposes. I dropped the green screen for the time being, and I'm sitting in front of my spinner rack just because I like to sit in front of my spinner rack.
Absolutely, man.
So just to bring back the good old times. But, You know what? That's awesome. I still have my X Factor #1. I'm pretty sure I have Excalibur #1 and Alpha Flight #1. I remember the Inferno event that crossed over between all three of the different. It was X Factor, X-Men, New Mutants.
New Mutants, right.
The Mutant Massacre. I remember those events. There's a bunch of them.
Yeah.
That I was really into. But that's, I like that one. I like that comic a lot. So, I mean, those aren't worth like a tremendous amount of money. I mean, X Factor is maybe $10, $15.
That's just
it doesn't matter.
That's just pure mutant love, right?
Yeah,
right there.
pure mutant agenda love. Yep. So, very cool, man. Thank you, Jason, for sharing that with us. Bob, you are up next.
This next comment comes from Ross Scheel. He says, I own one comic book that legitimately qualifies for the title Grail. Journey into Mystery number 85. It's the first Silver Age appearance of Loki, as well as of Odin, Heimdall, Balder, and Asgard. I bagged it at auction a couple of years ago, ahead of the announcement of the Loki TV series, and had planned to sell it when the timing was right, just as fan interest peaks. As the time edges closer, I find myself with no interest in selling it. It's my one true grail, so selling it lessens my collection. It seems that it takes a certain type of person to sell their collection, and I'm just not that type.
What have I said before?
Exactly.
What have I said? I've said it many times. People, I'm going to sell this.
Right.
They never do.
And they never do.
It just, we just get too attached.
Yeah.
And he's right. It does take a certain person or circumstance. Let's just throw that out there, because the circumstances can change and you really don't have a choice.
Right.
And you have to, get some fast money. And unfortunately, if that's the case, you end up losing a ton of money. Which
exactly.
is a whole nother, ball of wax.
Right.
But people don't like selling their books.
They don't.
As much as you tell me, oh yeah, I'm going to sell it, I call it BS.
You go ahead.
I call it BS because I know you, man. I know you. I know how much you enjoy those books.
I do enjoy them.
He's right, and I can understand that, and even though these are investments, but truly down deep, when I think you get to that day where like, maybe all this. I could be wrong, but I think I know you pretty well. So.
I'm amassing for my ultimate grail, which is Fantastic Four 5, and that's going to take a bunch of money. So, when I hold that Canto #1 in my hand and I see Fantastic Four #5 over here,
sure.
I'll gladly sell to get it.
Sure, man. Well, they're coming out in a facsimile, so you'll be all able to just get that. You won't have to sell nothing. All right, you got the next one.
All right. Let's see. The next one comes from David Posner. He says, my favorite book was my first comics, The Return of the Jedi, numbers 1 through 4, that came together in a set in a polybag. My dad bought them for me sometime after taking me and my brother to see the movie at the theater. It was my first movie experience and my first comic. I'll never forget it, and I still have those comics. They're well read and in horrible shape, but still my favorite. My dad is gone, but I'll never forget that.
I remember that pack.
Yeah, I do too.
I remember seeing that. What was that? Let's see. Star Wars came out in 77.
Yeah.
Empire in 79. And
somewhere around
81, 82 or something like that. Yeah. I was 8, 9 years old. So I remember seeing Empire in the theater.
Yeah.
I never saw Star Wars in the theater until they re-released it, back in the 90s or whatever it was.
Right.
But I remember seeing Empire as a little kid, and then obviously Return of the Jedi. Mm-hmm. But, that's just a great memory to have, because it's like, awesome movie, awesome book. Your parent bought it for you. It's like a trifecta of why you would hold on to that. Because it's almost like a small little time capsule, that one moment in time, and that book represents that moment.
Right. I would say that if somebody like that was to go out and buy a more pristine copy of that book, it would never hold the same meaning to them as that original one.
Exactly.
It's all tattered up.
Exactly. I got the next one here. This is from, look, it's a long one too.
All right.
This is from Stephen Martin. He said, why am I reading this one? Okay,
I don't know.
It says, my best is Daredevil #1. Woo! There you go. He says, I bought this to celebrate selling my first graphic novel series Algonquin Books, entitled Nancy Spector Monster Detective. Well, congratulations, my friend. It's going to be coming out October 2021. I'm pretty stoked for it, especially as someone who has been reading and collecting comics since I was 6 years old. Actually, every time I sell a book to a publisher, I buy one key issue to celebrate and mark the occasion. That way, when I look at my CGC books, I can recall which each book celebrates. P.S. Bueller, and this is for everyone here, he says, love the show, so thank you. He says, I listen to comics and coffee while I'm cleaning up around the house and sometimes in the car. Double P.S., this is the one I was referring to. When Nancy Spector gets closer, I'd love to send you some copies to send the Bueller comic community and one for yourself, of course. Awesome.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, so it sounds like when this comes out, he's going to send us some copies. Do me a favor, autograph it, and send Bob one, autograph one for Bob. And he'll probably send us some copies to give away as well. So, very cool. And, it's pretty neat to treat yourself every now and then. And apparently he does that by, when he sells a book, for that certain instance, he'll go and celebrate and treat himself. And that's kind of cool to have that little reference.
Yeah.
And stuff. I mean, I went to Taco Bell when I found out that when I got this image sent back to me. I was like, I'm going to celebrate, so I just went to Taco Bell. So I don't spend a lot of money, but whatever, right?
I'm the same way. I get up in the morning and I'm like, I got up today. I'm going to buy myself a comic book.
There you go. But Daredevil number, I think he just put that in there because he knew I'd read it. Because it said Daredevil right at the very beginning. Anyway, I got the next one as well. Ramon Arocha, something like that. He says, they're all my favorites, LOL. The books that mean the most to me were the ones I received as gifts from my son, mom, and brother because they bought them for me out of knowing I love to read comics, so it's really too hard to choose one at the moment. I'm the same way. The ones I get as gifts, they'll never leave. Yeah. I literally have separate boxes of books that, even though there's no order to them. Like, I'm missing, like let's say I'm missing X-Men number 120, okay? And I go on my run, and it's like, where's number 120? It's randomly sitting in a different box because it was a gift.
Yeah.
And it kind of annoys me, but I still don't put it in there, because it was a gift. And I have, separate boxes that are just for those that people have sent me.
Sure.
Either, you've given me some books, we've given each other some books. Mm-hmm. And a lot of you guys watching have sent me books and other books throughout the years and stuff. Anytime it's a gift, it just makes it that much more special.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was growing up, my aunt used to bring me grab bags. And some of those grab bags turned me on to comics that I probably would have never picked up myself. Yeah. And they were all special to me just for that reason, because it opened up my whole comic world.
Yeah. I've received stuff that, just like the stuff we just showed from, I forgot his name, David Ernst. I wouldn't know about any of that stuff. And, he autographed them for me and stuff, two Bueller or two Bob. Mm-hmm. And I'll never get rid of those. Yeah. Those are something special. So
absolutely.
I've gotten some very interesting things. I've been like, what is this? And Robert Galvin, he's one of those guys that sends you interesting things. Mm-hmm. And he definitely has sent me some interesting things. I love them all, man. So Thank you so much. All right, Bob, you're up next.
Sure thing.
And real quick, this next person that you're reading, Logan Lumpkins, just celebrated a birthday. So happy birthday to my buddy, Logan. And he's been a viewer from almost day one.
Yeah.
So he's a pretty good guy.
And he also did some artwork for us, which is pretty amazing. So
yeah, that's actually some of my favorite stuff.
Yeah, mine too.
Yep.
Absolutely. So Logan says, my favorite comic book in my collection has to be my copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 50. Yes. I had just started collecting, and one of my local comic book stores had one on the wall. It was priced for a steal at $175, but I didn't know that at the time. So I mentioned it to my dad, and he was hesitant. He isn't much of a comic book guy, but like I said, I really wanted it. So I emailed Bueller about it, and he essentially told me that it was a good deal, but encouraged me to follow my heart more than anything. Well, my heart said yes. However, it didn't say yes fast enough. The book was gone by the time I got back. Fast forward 3 months to Christmas, and I opened up a shoebox labeled "To Logan from Santa." No clue as to what it is. Well, I eventually get to opening it, and out pops the first appearance of Kingpin in my hands. It still has the used comic book store price tag on it, My dad had driven up to my college town and bought it while I was in class.
That's awesome.
Best Christmas present I ever received. That's an awesome comment.
That's, I didn't know, he might have shared this story with, I remember when he emailed me about that book. Mm-hmm. And for one, I always kind of back off when people ask, hey, is this a good deal? Because I don't like telling people and stuff, to be totally honest.
Right.
But I remember him asking me about that. I was like, hey, that sounds pretty good. It's the first appearance of Kingpin, in case people are wondering. But I didn't know that he actually ended up getting it. He might have told me, I might have forgot. But just him reminding me of that story reminds me of my story with my Iron Man that was very similar. Like, my sister went to buy it behind my back. She was going to give it to me for Christmas. It didn't turn out that way. But I wish it would have.
Right.
Like his did. But that's really cool. I know he wanted that book. Like I said, happy birthday to him. And that's a book I wouldn't mind having as well. So, do you have that one?
I do not have that one. That's one that is definitely on my list and for my collection because I've got to get the first appearance of Kingpin.
It's the sad walk. I call it the sad walk because you just see it's like he's just walking away.
Such an iconic cover.
It is. So it's
such an
cool.
iconic cover.
Thank you, Logan, for sharing that with me, man, and kind of bringing back some pretty good memories. So
absolutely,
that's pretty awesome though from Santa. That's pretty cool.
That is cool.
All right, you got the next one there, Bob.
This one comes from William Ferguson. He says Marvel's RoboCop #2. This was my very first comic book that I'd ever gotten, thus changing my life forever. This book still may be found for 25 cents, which is what I paid for it, laughing out loud. And I had books now in my collection that are way more valuable. But this is the book that started it all. So without this book, I wouldn't be the person that I am, since they have shaped me.
Yep. I just like, he said RoboCop too. I mean, it just shows the range of books that are out there. Who would have thought that RoboCop 2 was your first comic book to buy?
Right, exactly.
But that's what did it. Mm-hmm. Not really the best starting on point.
No.
But it doesn't take much, man.
It doesn't.
For a kid's imagination to kind of just run wild and to go from there. And like you said, I would hope that he has more valuable comics in this collection since then.
Right.
Because like you said, you can still get it for a quarter. But, I wanted to share it because it just does show the range of books. Yeah. It doesn't have to be a Hulk 181.
No.
Or, even a X-Men 100. Literally RoboCop 2.
Right.
Some random book worth a quarter still to this day.
To this day.
Changed his life.
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
That is awesome.
It's awesome. So
comic books.
There you go. I got the next one here. Mm-hmm. This is from Wasted Gushi. What is it?
Anguish.
Okay. I got the next one here. This is from. No, hold on. I got the next one here. This is from Wasted Anguish.
It's okay, man. I think it's more funny to me that it's messing with you.
You done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, good.
All right.
It says, my favorite was Giant Size Spider-Man versus Superman from 1976. I read my first copy of that so many times it fell apart. I was so astonished that two titans from different publishers could be in the same book. I walked out of the drugstore reading it and just forgot to pay for it. I realized what it did and ran back in thinking I was going to jail. The woman at the counter was laughing her head off at me. Haha. I don't know if this was the one because I know that there was two different ones. Mm-hmm. But I have this copy of the big giant one. There's a different cover. I think it's. I don't know if this is a reprint or they made two different stories. I don't know for sure, but this is the one I have. Mm-hmm. These things are awesome.
Yeah, they are.
I have about 6 or 7 of those giant ones in my collection. I can remember reading books in the store and honestly almost walking out the store with them.
Yeah.
I know I did with a bubble gum one time. What are you gonna do? You just get lost in them.
Yeah.
You just get, especially as a kid, man. I'm seeing this. Like I said, I don't know if this is the right one, but seeing that as a kid at that time, Spider-Man and Superman fighting each other or whatever it is, mm-hmm. in a big, huge format like this, bigger than your, half the size of your body or whatnot, at that age. And you're mesmerized. And that's what it did for him. And it does the same thing to me to this day. So
absolutely.
Very cool.
And it reminds me of a story from when I was a kid. I used to get my comic books from Lincoln Pico News. And I used to do the same thing. I used to basically go there. I pick comics out, and I start reading them. And I get so into it. There was one day I did the same thing. I walked completely out, completely away. Didn't realize till I got home that I hadn't paid. And I felt so bad. I went back the next day. I thought the guy was going to be so mad at me.
Yeah.
And finally ended up paying. And he said, you know what? He says, you're a stand-up kid. And he says, a lot of people come and they're mad because they don't get comics that are still on the shelf. He's like, you tell me whatever you want and I'll pull it aside for you.
That's cool.
So that was like my very first pull list,
Yeah.
And he did that. We had a really good relationship. That was the most fun place I ever used to go to when I was a kid.
I walked out in a few bars without paying.
That's a different story,
yeah,
man.
That was a different story. It was a long time
I
ago.
bet you didn't have comic books in your hand when you did that either, did you?
I had something else in my hand.
That's right.
Hey-o. Okay, I got the next one here. Mm-hmm. This is from Leah Peralta. Did I get that right?
Yes,
Thank you.
got that one right.
It says Bueller. Also great episode. Thank you. The best comic book in my collection is Micronauts #1. Not because of the value. It's more about personal value. When I was a kid, I had trouble reading books and really didn't like it. So my school teacher told my mom to buy me comic books to encourage me to read. So this is the first comic book my mom purchased me to read and started my comic book collecting. This is just another story. This is very similar to the RoboCop thing. It's just something that clicked.
Yeah.
In this instance, he was having a hard time reading. A lot of people started reading comic books. I hate books. I'll just tell you, I hate them.
Yeah.
They don't have any pictures in them. I need some pictures. Sometimes just pictures.
Right.
Well, that's a whole nother book.
Oh man, this episode's gone off the rails.
101, baby. But I have a heart. I mean, I can name the amount of books I read, like actual books mm-hmm. I read in both my hands.
Yeah.
To be totally honest, most of them are Stephen King books as well. But you throw in the characters and all that stuff, and you get kids interested, and they're a little bit more. They're not as childish as some of the books were that we were given as a kid. Just rainbows and butterflies or whatnot. Micronauts, RoboCop. That does it for you, man.
Yeah.
It's little cool things. Those are cool things, and it sparks people's joy for comics. So
absolutely. I remember when Micronauts came out. They were. Basically, the book was released in conjunction with the toys that had come out.
Yeah.
That was a good book, man.
Micronauts versus X-Men. I still got it.
Yep.
There you go. All right, you got the next one here.
All right, this next one comes from Ben Fong. He says, Tales of Suspense, #39. It's the first appearance of Iron Man. I have 3 copies. One I bought off of a spinner rack. One I bought in high school. And the last one, while in college, I traded my beat-up old truck for it.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Ben has been collecting a long time.
Yeah.
And we've read his comments before. He's got, from what I've read and what he shared with us, a pretty impressive collection. He likes buying in 3. I actually know that for a fact. Mm-hmm. And to have 3 of those books, first appearance of Iron Man, I have one of the facsimiles. That's good enough. But he's bought a lot of books when they came out. I mean, he's been a collector for that long. So, I mean, he's buying them when they were cover price, when they were 10, or maybe not 10 cents, mm-hmm. but, 15 cents, 12 cents, 25, all that stuff. When I meet collectors that have still been collecting ever since then, I think that's awesome.
Yeah, it is.
And there's a few guys I know locally that never stopped. Mm-hmm. I mean, they maybe took a break for a year here and there, mm-hmm. but literally have been collecting ever since they were a kid, and they're older than me. Not as old as you, but they're older than me. And it's like, wow, man. We took a week off, man. We got to make up for it, right?
Thanks for the digs, man.
Yeah, there you go. But, those collections would be considered pedigree collections,
yeah,
we talked about in that interview. And they're awesome because they, it's just the fact that you have 3 of those, man. You don't need all 3, do you? All right, Bob, you got the last one here.
All right, last one comes from Christopher Laverso. He says, my favorite comic in my collection is Marvel Superhero Secret Wars issue number 8, the first appearance of Spider-Man with the black symbiote suit. I purchased it 36 years ago, 1984, when I was a teenager. I'm 52 years old now. And yes, I still have it. Although it's not slabbed and definitely not near mint 9.8, it's a gem mint in my eyes. It has been read and referred to numerous times. It wasn't bagged, boarded, or stored correctly in the early years, and it definitely shows wear throughout the years. However, I like the condition and characteristics of my Secret Wars number 8 comic today. It's aged naturally like a fine wine.
I like that.
I do too.
So, first thing, before I get any comments in the videos like, oh, that wasn't the first appearance of the black suit or whatnot, give it a rest.
Yeah, give it a rest.
I'm tired of hearing that argument, to be honest. Save it for some other channel.
Right,
I don't care. For Christopher, it is. And to a lot of people, it is. Yeah. To me, honestly, it is.
Yeah.
And that's a great book. That Secret Wars run probably accounted for so many new people jumping on to it, because it was a combination of the Secret Wars and the toys at the same time.
Right.
And the book was made for the toys. That's what it was. And everyone has Secret Wars. It was like their best-selling book. It's like, I can't even think of a book right now that compares to it as far as like an event series that sold that many copies, that made such a difference, that introduced so many new people to collecting stuff. Secret Wars 2, not that great.
No.
But Secret Wars 1, and from what I understand, in the industry, it's not regarded very highly, but as a fan, it's pretty much on a lot of people's top 10 list.
Yeah, I mean, as a fan, it was everything you ever wanted.
Yeah.
I mean, having all those superheroes go up against each other, I mean, it was phenomenal.
Yeah. And if you don't know the story of the black suit, it was a fan. It was a fan's idea that literally wrote in one time, and he's like, hey, how come Spider-Man, when he's at night, how come his suit's not black so he blends in? Mm-hmm. And somewhat like that, and there's more to it. Mm-hmm. But that's basically where it came from. It was a fan that wrote in and submitted that and stuff, and then they went from there. Look what that did.
Yeah.
Just
people went nuts, man.
That one instance in a comic book, okay, where that little ball drops down, symbiote, okay. What do we talk about, or what is the comic book industry talking about right now? Venom. Symbiote King, whatever that guy's is. No. Mm-hmm. It's like, without that little ball dropping out of that machine to fix Spider-Man's costume, none of that happens.
Nope.
That's pretty awesome.
It's pretty awesome.
Do you think they had any idea at the time what that would mean?
No. It wasn't until McFarlane picked it up that we got what we got. So, but the seed was planted at that point.
There you go. That's why I like it. I have my copy of that book. It's got a big chunk out of the cover and stuff, and I bought it for $5, and I've owned many copies of that one over the years.
Yeah, so have I.
But that's the one I kept. So you had a copy. You sold it. And we worked that out. So anyway. But you know what? That's it. I mean, we blew through these pretty good.
Pretty quickly,
It's like we took a week off to refresh our batteries or something, If you guys want to know our favorites, just go watch our Q&A video. To be honest. We've talked about it many times.
We've talked about it so many times.
We just want to talk about your favorites, to be honest. And besides the Q&A video, like you said, we've talked about them many times. So anyway, great topic, great comments that were shared with us. Let's go ahead and switch gears to our final 5.
Yeah.
Brought to you by Comic Proline. You want to go?
Sure, I can go. You want to take yours down?
Are these mine or yours?
Those are yours.
Okay.
All right. So again, just some random stuff. Here's one of the covers from the Joker 80th anniversary. And then there's X-Men number 212, which is one of my favorite stories of all time. Wolverine versus Sabretooth.
There you
go. Here's Iron Man number 49.
Nice.
And then here's Daredevil and Black Widow number 102. And just for my friend Gore Vidal, if he's watching, here is Elektra.
There you go.
There we go. There's my final 5.
Nice little random goodness there.
Yeah, just some random stuff.
Not bad. All right, I got mine. They're pretty random as well. So I have to throw a DC book in there just appease the audiences or whatnot. But this is pretty cool because it's Brave and the Bold number 129. It's got Batman, Green Arrow, Joker, and Two-Face on the cover. So I like that one. Here is Stephen King's The Stand. I mentioned him earlier. They're making a new Stand.
Yeah.
I really like the 80s cheesy, campy.
It was so good.
It was so good at the time. Even though it doesn't hold up very well over the years, it's very corny when you watch it now. But I still watch it every now and then. Yeah. I'm looking forward to the new one, but I don't think it's going to replace the old one. No. Biggs and Tiny number 4. It's for our friends over at Blackbox Comics. They sent me a bunch of those, so we'll probably be sending those out later. I wanted to show this because, just to remind myself, this is Immortal Hulk number 1. This is the blank cover. This was at last year's 2019 MegaCon. All the people there signed it for me, and I wasn't there, but Steve Whiting had a bunch of YouTubers and people sign it for me. So I'm looking forward to having another book signed this time around when I actually do go to Florida. So it should be fun. And last one I have is Amazing Spider-Man number 23. This is the Alex Ross cover. Might as well show some Alex Ross goodness, right?
Can't go wrong with that.
I got all of them. I'm so glad that's over. It cost me too much money. Buying books. I don't like buying books I wouldn't buy.
Right.
But when it comes to stuff like that, I kind of the Alex Ross timeless variants that what we're talking about. Once I set on doing it, I just do it.
Yeah.
And I did the same thing last year with the Battle Lines variants.
Battle Lines variants.
Even though the Alex Ross ones are a lot better, to be honest. Some of the Battle Lines ones weren't that great, but I was.
There are some good ones though.
Yeah, but I committed to it, so I just ended up doing it. But that's the last time I bought Squirrel Girl.
Yeah.
Or Miss Marvel or whatever. So I'm nothing against those titles, but I've never bought them otherwise. So.
Right.
But anyway, that's my final 5, and
good.
We're rolling right along. We're just going to go ahead and go straight into Robbie's Pick of the Week.
Hey everybody, I'm Rockin' Robbie Billups from Pop Culture Philosophers. I hope you're enjoying the show, and my Pick of the Week is...
Crossover number 1 by Image Comics. This was a pretty good book. I haven't read it myself yet. How about you? Have you read it?
I did read it, and I enjoyed it. I don't know... I think Robbie liked it a lot more than I liked it. I'm not saying I didn't like it, but I mean, he really liked it. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
I liked it, but there were some other books out this week that I enjoyed as well. I actually read quite a few books this week because our comic shop got delayed like day after day after day. So DC came in one day, another publisher came in the next day, and the next day. So it gave me time to read them.
Right.
So I took advantage of that. But I did read it. I enjoy kind of the concept of it, and I'm just kind of spoil it, to be honest. Comics come to life, and they come out of the pages of the books and stuff, and they take over a town in Colorado, similar to The Stand. I thought about that when I mentioned that. And they're in like a big dome, in a big bubble. One superhero made them in a big bubble, and it's been going on. I think it's been going on for a while now. And it just wreaked havoc there, and it sounds like a lot of people died and everything, and all this stuff going on. They're still fighting or whatnot, and so there's like a revolt, against comic books, and like it takes place majority of it takes place in a comic book shop, and like there's protesters outside, like, comics are bad, and there's still people in there that like them, so it's really divided. I think Donny Cates is kind of trying to make a statement on, back in the 50s or 60s when they were really against comics and the comic code came out, people were burning comics and stuff like that. Like they were the downfall of young men or whatnot, and I think Cates is trying to make a statement on that. I could be wrong, but I think he's trying to make a modern day statement on what happened back there. We'll have to see as this kind of goes on. I think it's a limited series.
Yeah.
But it was interesting concept. It refers to Superman a couple times in there by name, which I thought was interesting. So, and then there's a little cliffhanger at the end or whatnot. So, I don't know. I liked it. I'm definitely on my pull list. I do want to point out something about this book is the quality of the book itself. Like the actual quality is really good. Like it's $3.99, but they're using cardstock for the cover, so it's nice and thick, and the paper quality is really good as well. So hats off to Image Comics for doing that and not charging us an extra $1 on the side. And they're doing the same thing with the Walking Dead book. It's a thicker book. It's got the thicker cardstock cover, and it's still only $3.99. Yeah. So kind of cool. I think it'd probably be easier to get 10s, or 9.9s or 10s on the grade because of that. So, but yeah, I enjoyed it. I added it to my pull list, so it wasn't bad. Go ahead, go check out Robbie's Pop Culture Philosopher. We've said this many times. He does the best reviews on YouTube. They come out Tuesday night for all the comics that are coming out on Wednesday, and he reads 50 or 60 comics and tells you what he thinks about them. And he doesn't like Superman.
Right now he doesn't.
I love it, man. Every time, I'm not reading this again. And then the next week, I'm not reading this again. He reads them every time.
Yeah.
So the reason why we moved the Robbie's Pick of the Week towards the end is because we're going to be doing a new segment, and we kind of mentioned this on the episode 100. It kind of ties in. It's kind of a loose name, but we're going to call it Was It Good? And every week, Bob and I are going to pick 2 or 3 books each that we're looking forward to reading that week. And then the following week, we're going to talk about them and let you know if we thought they were any good. Were they worth it? Were they a good read? Were they not a good read? And also, if you guys want to suggest some books that are coming out this week, go ahead and do that. And if we pick them up, we can reference those on the next video. So what I'm looking forward to this week is Punchline number 1. I guess that's the origin story of Punchline or something. There's another book called Taskmaster number 1. That's the villain from Marvel. He's got his own series, I guess. And then Red Mother number 10 by Boom Studios. So those are the 3 ones I'm looking forward to. So I'll make sure I get those, read them, and then next week I'll tell you what I thought, if they were any good. Bob, what are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to Kick-Ass versus Hit Girl.
Nice.
I think that's really going to be an awesome one. Shannon Mayer just did a great cover for it that was just released this weekend. I'm also looking forward to the Taskmaster book.
There you go.
And then also Strange Academy.
Nice.
I've really been loving that one, and I really hope that title just keeps pulling me in.
Yeah. So those are the ones we're going to be looking at, and if other ones pop up, let us know. And I want this to be a regular segment. We're going to dedicate 10, 15 minutes to it and just talk about the weekly books that come out, because every week there's some great books. I want to have an opportunity to talk about them and discuss them with you guys as well and see what you thought about them.
Sure.
We're just starting this, so we don't really have any books from last week to talk about. So starting next week, we will do Was It Good?
Was it good?
And no, yes. I don't know. We'll come up with something fun. I don't know. But anyway, looking forward to doing that. And that's why, like I said, that's why we moved Robbie's thing, because Robbie's pick might tie into what we're talking about. That we'll make sure it does tie in, because a lot of his picks will probably be ones we're looking forward to reading as well.
For sure.
But you know what? That's about it, man. But let me go ahead and give you the mic, because you have some TKO books there.
Yes, I actually do. In recent episodes, we've been advertising TKO, and we've been mentioning their third wave of books. Well, they sent me a couple for review. There's The Pull. This one is by Steve Orlando, which is pretty cool. They've got another one called Lonesome Days and Savage Nights. Looks like it's going to be a werewolf book.
Nice. And
then one called Red Fork, which was written by Alex Packnadell. These are all books I'm looking forward to reading and reviewing. And once I'm done, I'll bring them back and we'll give them away on the show.
Nice. Are they available now?
They're available now on the TKO website. And like I've said before, if you see something you like there, whether it be this new stuff or some of the older stuff, enter the code everything20. You get 20% off your purchase. Good stuff.
Awesome. Also, you guys can go to Scout Comics.
Yeah.
And you can enter Bueller on Scout Comics website, and you save 10% off your purchase on there. I think their new monthly subscription box is shipping right now, if I'm not mistaken. I think I saw an email or something like that. But they got some great titles coming out this month as well. But you know what? That's pretty much about it. We're going to wrap it up pretty quick this week. Okay. But also, I want to let everyone know, if you're, like I said at the beginning, let me put this up there. What do I do with it? Oh, it's right here. That's available. Knock 'em Dead #1, the very first exclusive Comics with Bueller, very first one, a variant cover that I had commissioned and everything done by Clara Meath. And there's 40 copies available right now. If you're interested, email me. My email is comicswithbueller@gmail.com. Just send me an email that you're interested. I'll send you the information. I'm just going through PayPal. It's pretty simple. Just trying to cut out some of the fees, to be totally honest and stuff. But if you want one, there's only 40 copies, and they'll probably be gone by the end of the day. So there you go. I'm pretty excited, and like I said before, it wouldn't happen without you guys watching. It just wouldn't. And to have the opportunity to do it, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I've been bragging. Here, let me explain something real fast. Explaining to someone who doesn't collect comics that you have an exclusive variant, they don't get it. I've had this conversation with multiple. They're like, "You drew it? No." "Oh, you wrote it? No." They're like, "What?" And it's just like it's a dead end conversation.
Right.
They don't get it, but you know what? You guys get it, and that's all that counts, right?
Absolutely.
So there you go. I really appreciate everyone's time and just watching in general. And the copy video is very special to me and Bob and the other people who have been on here. And also thank you to all the people who watched the CBCS interview.
Sure.
That's the #1 most watched interview he's ever done.
Yeah.
By far. Like 7,000
awesome.
people have watched it. And he had a good time. We had a good time. So if you have any grading questions, go watch that video. It answered quite a few of them. So there you go.
Absolutely.
All right, everyone. Yeah, you have something?
I was just going to say, on my channel, I didn't put a video out last week, and this week, I'm not going to have a video again.
Great.
Last week, I had some technical difficulties getting my movie off of my phone, which is how I film my shows. And then this week, our LCS was extremely late on the books. I haven't even read my books yet. So, sorry, guys. I'm doing the best I can, but I will have a video out this week. Coming up, so I'm still around.
All right.
Yeah, it sucked.
There you go. All right, everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You know what to do. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.